Well, top of the morning to you. You've reached the Tasmania Reactions channel. Trying to get this thing to grow, so like, subscribe, throw a comment in. I'll get back to you if I can. Might take some time to, get this channel rolling, but I'm willing to hang out, been enjoying it. Have a few friends that seem to enjoy it as well. But today the video is going to be another one of my just daily reactions of what went on today. Just as people out there just like me, just have a normal day. See how they responded to their day along to what I just went through. Nothing major or anything, but people at work know I'm pretty involved in or somewhat have my hand in a lot of current event stuff that goes on, and I normally don't speak about things unless I've already done research. Like, for instance, I really don't want to get into the shooting that happened without looking a little more information on that. So this video won't have anything about that, but I'll be looking more into it tomorrow when I have more time to. It's a sensitive subject for sure. But no, I got asked today what happened to the gas prices? Why are they so high? And I was like, excuse me, what do you mean? Said that the gas was $4 a gallon wherever, and I was like, what? Not when I got gas. I mean, usually when they're looking at gas, it's usually the lower grade. If you have nicer cars or whatever, nicer engines, you might have to get a little more. So yes, those are more expensive, but the price should be based off of what regular gas is, regular unleaded. So I'm sitting there and I'm like, no, it's not. I was like, matter of fact, it just came out that gas is at a 4-year low. It just came out. So obviously this person doesn't pay too much attention. Just is either listening to people or ended up at a gas station that was running out of gas and figured they'd hike up their gas and have people not pull in so that they didn't run out of gas. I know that happens sometimes. So I literally pulled my phone out, looked at the oil prices, showed them. Then I also pulled up Google Maps and said gas prices around me, and the average was like $2.80, not $4. So, and I literally told her, this is exactly why I get frustrated sometimes when people, I literally just showed you in 3 minutes that what you just said is not even close to being correct. I mean, one thing if it was kind of wrong, wasn't even close to being correct. So anyways, so that happens. Then it's another similar situation. Gentleman comes up, and he was just talking and started bringing up ICE and detaining and how they're out there beating women up and beating men up and all this stuff and how Trump lets this happen. And I'm like, what? I have no idea what they're talking about. And I just tried to do research to find a female that they show getting beat or whatever. I didn't find it, but I found a guy, and we'll play it here. But ultimately, even if that was the case, I don't know where that's Trump's fault. That's like literally saying if there's the cops go out of control on somebody, that's Trump's fault. I mean, obviously there's bad seeds out there, and, I know not every single one of my interactions with police have been. The police was totally professional and cool. There's been a couple of times where, they're acting, like Mr. Tough Guys and stuff like that. But ultimately, most of my experience has been pretty decent because I was taught how to react to a traffic stop or dealing with police. It's not that difficult. Did the same thing with my kids, and they're all fine with any situation that they've ever had with police. But so I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about, and if it is, that's just ICE agents being jerks. They shouldn't, and the people that do that, if they're doing it with no cause and no reason, they should be put in jail just like anything else. So then all of a sudden it just comes out, and he's just like, well, Trump hates brown people, and that's why he lets these ICE people do whatever. And I was like, whoa, whoa, whoa. I was like, stop. What do you mean? It was like, well, he just doesn't like our kind of people. I was like, where are you basing that off of? And well, because he wants to deport all of us. I was like, I want to deport all of illegals. I don't want to deport all brown people. So I said, that's not what he's ever said. And then he's like, oh, yeah, then show me. And he's like, oh, there's lots of places. I was like, well, then it should be pretty easy then, right? Show me. Show me where he said that. Ever. Well, that's just how he is, or whatever. That's what he said. So I literally, obviously dealing with somebody who doesn't know, they just kind of felt this way anyways, just through the fact that the comments that were made already, just listens to, propaganda, fake news, stuff like that. So I said, so I imagine you liked Obama? Oh, hey, yeah, Obama he was good. I was like, yeah. I was like, his nickname was Deporter in Chief. It's like, he deported 3.1 million people in his 8 years. 3.1 million. I said, you know how many Trump has deported? Oh, well, probably more. So I said, not even close. It's not even close. But if you're basing your thought process on deportations by presidents, Trump isn't even close to the last 5. Clinton, Bush, Biden, and Obama. And especially, just to be simple, I don't know their numbers right now, but off the top of my head, but I even pulled it up right here. But then I also comment, I was like, yeah, and you know the story about the kids in cages too, right? Oh yeah, Trump, blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, when that first came out as a report, the person that originally reported the story came out and said, that video's from 2014 when Obama was in office. All those videos about the kids in cages, it wasn't even Trump. It was Obama. They were trying to make it look like it was Trump. And if you would just do research, you could find that out pretty easy. So real quick, we'll get in the video. So no, I'm not here forever. But I mean, I'm just looking up at this right now. It's a USA Today. But although 8 years in office, the Obama administration logged more than 3.1 million ICE deportations. Obama had earned from critics the name Deporter in Chief. Obviously, hit on Commander in Chief by putting these two together. The first Trump administration maxed out at deporting 269,000 people in 2019. So that was 1 year. And according to the same data, across 4 years, the Trump administration recorded fewer than 932,000. They didn't even get a million. He might be hitting a million now, because I think I said maybe so far they've been up to 100,000. He didn't even hit a million in 4 years. Now, Obama hit 3.1 million. But Trump's the racist because he wants all the brown people gone. But Obama, 3.1 million. Okay. So kind of done with that. So I just kind of showed them that. But there is this story that came out. The only one that I could find, because like I said, I'll do research. But there's a story here. Let's go with this.
This video, and I want to warn you, it's disturbing to watch, is of masked Border Patrol agents violently detaining a man in California, and you might have seen it. It's been making the rounds on social media.
Oh, they're masked, guys. Uh-oh. But when you have protesters, peaceful protesters that are masked throwing things, no one cares. But these guys are masked. They have an issue. Okay.
And in the video is Narciso Barranco, landscaper and father of 3 United States Marines. He was working on a job at an IHOP when masked agents chased him and threw him to the ground and repeatedly struck him in the arm and near the face, and finally, they pushed him into the back of an unmarked vehicle. We spoke to his son, Marine Corps veteran Alejandro Barranco, whose brothers are still active duty Marines, and here's what he said.
I believe the ICE agents were in the same plaza as him. He was just working the landscaping job at the IHOP on that street, and I think they were just racially profiling people. There's videos out there, and my dad saw that a couple of guys masked up, civilian clothes, no IDs, no warrant, big guns, came up to him. He got scared. I think it's a natural human reaction, and he ran away. He didn't know who they were. It's very hard on us because we've always tried to we've always tried to help this country out. We gave our lives to this country. It's just not fair, and I don't like the way they're going about this. Honestly, I'm heartbroken because, I mean, I love this country. I love my parents. I love the community. It's just, I don't know. I feel betrayed.
DHS says the original video
feels betrayed. I'm gonna go back to that one, but he feels betrayed. Okay.
Doesn't show the whole picture, and they shared this one saying he could have, quote, mowed down agents with his weed whacker, and they, quote, used minimum amount of force. But we've obtained some new video of angles you might not have seen yet, which show Barranco trying to get away. For now, Alejandro.
Oh, does he have a weapon in his hand? Yes, I understand it was a weed whacker. I don't know his little comment on he could have barraged, but ICE agents are trying to detain him, and he's got a weapon in his hand, which happens to be weed whacker or whatever. So, did they pull out a gun and shoot him? Looks like they're trying to mace him a little bit or pepper spray him. That didn't seem to work, so they get him to the ground. Okay. Did they shoot him? No. Were they beating him up like Rodney King? I don't think so. There we go.
And their family's main mission is to get to their dad and get him out of ICE detention in downtown Los Angeles. We reached out to DHS for comment on those additional video angles, and they declined to comment.
All right, so I already find this report a little sus anyways, due to the fact that never really says if he's illegal or not illegal, if he's got papers of some sort. It doesn't even say what status it is. It's just, oh, it's supposed to be horrible. So I'm going to take the deportation thing out of it anyways. But if you're put in a position where cops suspect you of something, or agents or anything to that effect, and you throw a weapon out that's not bright, and as I served in the military, if my dad gets pulled over for DUI, I'm going to feel betrayed that the cops arrested him. How could they? I signed a piece of paper that pretty much put my lives in the hands of the government. Last I look, I got paid for what I did. Was I signing a blank check? Yeah, people will say that. You got to serve, you got to do whatever. You take an oath to, go against the foreign and domestic enemies, and Commander-in-Chief is your boss. But I don't think that if my father, mother, my son does something wrong and the police pick them up, or whatever agency, because they're in the wrong, I'm going to feel betrayed. there's rules out there. I don't. Oh, I served in the military. You've got to let my dad go. What sense does that make? And not only that, I'm sorry. Um, I definitely will tell somebody I appreciate it if they say thank you for your service. That's pretty awesome that somebody goes out of their way to say that. That is cool. However, I don't like it just because it was like, yeah, hey, cool, awesome, whatever. I mean, I don't like it to the point of like that's not what's expected, and I think most people that serve are like that. But it's kind for other people to say something, so I know it's coming from a good place. So I'll come back and be like, oh yeah, no problem, oh no problem, just it's not what I did, but hey, thanks, that's really nice of you. That's fine, awesome, great. But I understand that there's things out there where, you can still go and, if you hurt yourself or you have, you know, you can, file claims, to be vets. I also feel that, one of my things will be, with all the illegals out here, you think you would take care of the veterans before they take care of illegals, things like that. I'm not saying in all cases they don't, but a lot of cases they don't. That's out there. So I will say things like that. However, there's not too many, if any, veterans that I know. Obviously, there's people out there. There's no freaking veterans that I know out there that talks like this. Oh, I feel this, or we did this, so it feels like they should do something. Then what did you serve for the military for? Did you serve just to make a paycheck? Did you serve to get your green card? Did you serve to get your college? Did you serve to have people kiss your feet and they don't? I don't get it. Not too many military guys that I know sit there and act like the government or the government owes them anything if they mess up. Now, I definitely know some that have really hurt themselves or got shot or have some mental issues. Like, yeah, the government does owe because they should be out there helping them out. If you can do that with cops and firemen and all that stuff, PTSD, things like that. You got some mental issues from the shit that you've seen. There's a lot of PTSD out there, and on that point, yeah, the government should help because that's the right thing to do. But it's not something like this where all of a sudden you mess up and all of a sudden you get a speeding ticket for reckless driving, and all of a sudden, well, I served in the military. Oh, you're a Marine. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. Go on with your day. My bad. We'll take care of the woman you just stabbed. And we'll get rid of her. Don't worry about it, sir. You have a good one. It's the dumbest shit ever. All right. So anyway, and the way this guy reports is freaking ridiculous. However, let's get into some good stuff. Let's go Jennings.
A great week for him, not just because of this ruling, but earlier in the week, the Supreme Court handed him the ruling on being able to deport illegal immigrants to third-party countries, essentially. So he's on a little bit of a winning streak in the courts right now. And you know what a lot of Republicans are saying is, nope, we're not tired of winning yet. This happened. The stock market's at a record high. He brokered the ceasefire in the 12-day war. Peace broke out between Rwanda and the Congo. I mean, gas prices are at a 4-year low.
No, I was just gonna say gas prices. Rwanda, peace. I almost thought he said Wakanda, but Rwanda, I haven't even heard that. Nobody's even talking about that. They're talking about if Iran still has a nuclear, but there's a lot of stuff. There's a lot of good stuff that went on last week, and the only thing I disagree with what he said was he said that Republicans are happy and that they're tired of winning. Well, fact of the matter is, I don't care if you don't like Trump. I don't care if you're a Democrat. If Trump had a great week, most likely America had a good week, and it was a good week. The stock market looks phenomenal right now. They always turn and always do whatever, but hey, you got to go with the highs. You got to go with the lows. There's nothing you can do about it. So right now we're at highs. Let's roll with it. It's a great week.
For the summer. I mean, win after win after win. And so you could make an argument that this week or the last 2 weeks, the best week or 2 weeks of his entire presidency.
And you can tell some of them look like they're going to cry. They're like, why do you... If somebody I didn't vote for was kicking ass as president, I would be like, damn, I was wrong. But gosh, man, he's really doing, she, whatever, is doing a great job. That's awesome. I'm glad I was wrong because damn, we're doing fantastic. Feel safer, like if I was like, oh, he's gonna start World War III and he can't close the borders. Borders are closed. Gas is down. Eggs are cheaper. And what are you gonna do? Just sit here? Oh, well, he's racist. He's racist. Man, if he does well, we do well. Anyways, so then also, man, I was watching Ben Shapiro, and he came up with it's something I get in discussions with sometimes with people. A lot of time there was back in the day there was a thing that came out about the Star Spangled Banner, the whole Star Spangled Banner. If some of you don't know out there, there's more to the Star Spangled Banner than we sing or that you hear at baseball, football games or whatever. There's like three more verses. Because there was a poet that wrote it or whatever, writer who wrote it, but we don't say all the verses. It'd be just too long. So you could Google it, look it up. But there's a thing in there about how it talks about slaves and whatever and things in there. And for the ones that did see it back then, it did get popular to the point that, C. Scott was already talking about how they had slavery in the Star Spangled Banner. That's why we should get rid of the Star Spangled Banner because they're talking about slaves. Real quick, look it up, read what it says. It's literally saying us as the new United States or the colonists after we beat England in the Civil War, beat England in the Revolutionary War, that we were free men, meaning men and women, but the colonies were free to decide to fight, and we were free men fighting. However, if you know history, Britain had slaves and even other areas that were trying to, because it wasn't just Britain that was trying to come back, because I think, if not, was it 1812 when it was written at Fort McHenry in Maryland, or I think it's Maryland. Yeah, anyways, and where it was written. But other countries had slaves. They had mercenary armies that they paid to come over. So in that verse, it says something about that slaves and it says like mercenaries. So pretty much saying that the home of the land of the free, home of the brave, that we're free, brave individuals that are fighting for this country, free will. Other countries are paying people. They have slaves that are actually doing that. That's what that second verse is about. But then you look into it more. You can see, just like any other meetings that go around here, there are minutes that have been written that, back in the day, they would write minutes during these discussions about our founding fathers. And there's things in there that says many times they wanted to abolish slavery when the Constitution was written. Again, I don't want to get too into that. That would be its own video. Look into it. And Ben Shapiro is going to say a little bit about it, but go look it up. Go look it up a little more. But I thought it was great with the 4th of July coming up, and that's kind of why he brought it up, because the 4th of July and on the fake premise about how slavery was looked at during our founding fathers writing our Constitution. Here you go. Oh, that's the wrong one. Let's see, where are we at?
We should talk about a myth that has been pervaded about July 4th and about the United States in general. This, of course, is the 1619 myth that America was founded on slavery and that the Revolutionary War was fought for the preservation of slavery. There are so many lies that are told about our civilization, particularly about the foundation of our civilization, in order to somehow claim that our civilization should therefore be torn down. If you were to poll the morons at Glastonbury or the Democratic primary voters for Zoran Mamdani about what they think of the United States, they would surely agree with the myth that America was founded on slavery. And it's not true. So first of all, let's take a moment to debunk this myth. a huge number of the founders overtly opposed slavery in principle. Even those who were hypocrites and held slaves themselves did not provide significant defenses of slavery. That included George Washington and Thomas Jefferson. Washington said, quote, "There's not a man living who wishes more sincerely than I do to see a plan adopted for its abolition." Thomas Jefferson's original draft of the Declaration of Independence called the slave trade an execrable commerce and an affront against human nature itself. John Jay said, "It is much to be wished that slavery may be abolished. To contend for our own liberty and to deny that blessing to others involves an inconsistency not to be excused." Of course, Benjamin Franklin, James Madison, John Adams, very passionately, Alexander Hamilton, spoke against slavery as well. Now, why was slavery included in the Constitution of the United States originally? The answer was because there were still slaveholding states in the United States. Many of the northern states were not slaveholding states, but the southern states were. And the question was, could you get together a coalition to defeat the British, or could you not? And this was not a fight on behalf of promoting slavery. Slavery remained legal in the British Empire until 1833. So this was not a fight in which one side was pro-slavery and one side was anti-slavery. Far from it. The leaders in America ideologically were not in favor of slavery. There was a practical on-the-ground consideration, which was that many of the southern states were reliant on slave labor. Again, that's an evil not to be excused, but to claim that the Revolutionary War was about slavery is to be ignorant of history. And in fact,
Right. So there you go. And if you want, I'd say go look it up. I just thought it was great with the 4th of July coming up. And, of course, a lot of now you got Juneteenth so close. 4th of July, a lot of stuff comes up about that. But, yeah, you can look through. There's places you can find the minutes. And it isn't just a small section. They talked a long time. It just wasn't thrown together. So like I said, yeah, look it up. And then the 14th Amendment situation that's going on now with just allowing people to jump over the border, have babies, and then all of a sudden, oh, the baby is American citizen. Well, as you can tell with Jennings, right? That's Jennings said something in the beginning of it, right?
A great week for him, not just because of this ruling, but earlier in the week, the Supreme Court handed him the ruling on being able to deport illegal immigrants to third-party countries, essentially. So he's on a little bit of a winning streak in the courts right now. And you know what a lot of Republicans are saying?
Yeah, no, I guess it wasn't. It was about that. But that was a good win, though, too. But this gentleman right here definitely makes it pretty freaking simple of Trump is the racist one, but yet Trump knows that was made for slaves. And I don't know what people think that Trump's not saying to get rid of the 14th Amendment. He's saying stop using the 14th Amendment for the having the babies fall in here or get in here, have babies, and then all of a sudden they're American citizens. This gentleman explains it really well.
These liberal leftist lunatics out here are suffering from an extreme case of TDS, Trump derangement syndrome. The new thing that they're trying to argue now is that the 14th Amendment was not written specifically for black folks. And that is a bold-faced lie. I'm going to give you a history lesson. ADOS, American descendants of slaves, were covered under the 14th Amendment. That's what gave us our citizenship. And I agree with what Trump said.
Yes,
it's being abused. People are coming to this great nation illegally, dropping babies, and then trying to claim that they're a United States citizen. Well, my ancestors had to go through slavery, build a nation, and fight in the Civil War to become citizens of this country. It's just straight nonsense. Now they're trying to say that Trump gonna get the black people out because he's trying to make some changes to the birthright citizenship clause, and it's straight up nonsense. Like Trump said, the 14th Amendment was for the babies of slaves. And if y'all don't believe me, we'll go to Google and we'll ask Google our damn self. I know y'all in denial. That's what that TDS does to your brain. It makes you do mental gymnastics. But the facts say right here, according to Wikipedia, the 14th Amendment was a response to issues affecting free slaves following the American Civil War. You don't see any mention of another race, only the free slaves, black people in the United States. Hold on, that's just Wikipedia. I got another source. Just in case Wikipedia was being biased, I just asked a simple question. What was the reason for the 14th Amendment being ratified? And it says it right here. The 14th Amendment to the U.S. Constitution, ratified in 1868, 3 years after the Civil War, was primarily designed to guarantee citizenship and equal civil and legal rights to formerly enslaved people following the Civil War. We don't have to come out here and try to tell these lies because y'all hate Trump so much. That should be one thing y'all agree on. That is for black folks, and people have come in, talk trash about black folks, and then try to benefit off the stuff that our ancestors had to lose their lives over.
You ain't wrong. Preach. Preach. I'd buy that man a drink. Some type of beverage. I don't know. But, yeah. Oh, and then, I don't know if you caught this, but, you know, Mr. Racist over here.
Tshisekedi also mentioned at the end of my interview that when peace finally comes to Democratic Republic of the Congo, he's thinking to nominate you as a Nobel Prize Peace because he's...
Wow, someone's going to nominate for the Nobel Peace Prize? Wow. Because of the peace talks?
Said you deserve, you have been working. Peace finally come to Democratic Republic of the Congo. He's thinking to nominate you as a Nobel Prize Peace because he said you deserve, you have been working to bring peace in the world, not only at the Congo, and he's very hopeful to meet you in the future.
That's so nice. Boy, that's so beautifully stated. And Caroline said, number one, she did say, and I shouldn't say this because it's politically incorrect, she said, she's beautiful, and you are beautiful. I'm not allowed to say
melted.
That, you know, that could be the end of my political career.
She melted. She's, oh my God.
I shouldn't say this because it's politically incorrect. She said, she's beautiful, and you are beautiful. I'm not allowed to say that, you know, that could be the end of my political career, but I said it anyway. But
He's loving his
Dude,
life now.
dude's, come on. Dude's
I
funny.
wish I had more reporters like you.
So, I mean, hot. I'd much rather have more report, not like that hairy forearm lady, Caitlin Collins at CNN. Gross.
Yeah. So, well, there you have it. Oh yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. We're looking at the. No, I'm not gonna go over that. That was goofy. Oh, just the music festival they had on the BBC, where the guy was pretty much saying death to Jews and Palestine will live forever, or it was just some ridiculous that they got people over there getting arrested for making comments on the internet, yet BBC lets this guy just pretty much say screw us, screw the Jews, and that Palestine will live forever. It's and then also screw England, because I think he was saying that they want their country back and telling them F off. Look it up if you want to find. I don't even know who it is, but yeah, that was interesting. So yeah, cut this one down. Guys, like, subscribe, hit me up. Like I said, I've had a few emails. Go ahead and put comments down. Troll me, do what you want, but hopefully nobody will troll back with you or anything. But I mean, as long as you're respectful, I think everything will be fine. But I mean, I don't even take ones that aren't respectful. Just comment, subscribe. I'm gonna try to get my sports guy sometime later this week to come back and talk over the UFC. See if he's got anything else. Maybe talk some picks for that day, or the next day for that. But yeah, he's busy probably getting some new information on next UFC fight coming up. So like, subscribe. Like I said, this is the Tasmania Reactions channel. Look us up, man. Make sure you like, subscribe, comment. What we need, especially comments. That'd be great. All right, you guys take it easy. I'll see you soon.